Hello. Today we're going to look at Pandas. Pandas is a data analysis package of Python, which is widely used. So we're going to use Google Colab, which is a free kind of online IDE that is used for various data analysis and machine learning purposes. Since it is free, so we're going to use it and learn a little bit about pandas. So the pandas library you can install by using something known as a pip, which is a Python package manager. So it's usually installed as pip install pandas. So Google Colab comes with lots of packages that is already pre-built. So you don't need to install pandas, but if it is not installed, you can use pip install pandas. So since now it's already installed, we'll see. So it's already installed and the requirement is satisfied. So after that, so we need to import the pandas library. So for that, we're going to use something called as a import function. So we call import pandas as PD. PD is just a convention. So you can use either PI or PIT or anything like that. But conventionally, you import it as a PD. Also, there is another package called NumPy. So that is imported as NP. So for running these two packages, so you just need to click this arrow on the left side, or you can also hit control and enter like this. So once you enter, so if there is no error, so you'll get this green checkbox. If it is not properly entered, then you get an error, maybe something like this. So instead of pandas, if I write pandas, so it's going to tell us that no module named pandas, and also there will be a squiggly line here. So just make sure that you type the right package name and run it. So once you run, pandas and numpy functions are available. So there are various functions and methods available in pandas. So first we'll check the version of pandas. So for that we're going to write version underscore underscore, and it is going to give us 2.22. So this is not the latest one. So the latest is 3. So, but we know how to check that. Also, it comes with various other methods and function. For that, we can use dir pd, and if we enter now, so it's going to give us a whole lot of methods and functions. So there are approximately around, I think, 300 plus. Let's check the length of the pandas. I think it's 141. So this is how you check pandas functions and methods. So now I have created a dummy data frame using a pandas method called data frame. So in this one I have got order ID as a list. So this is a dictionary of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 columns. So each column has got some lists of variables. Let's see, order ID has got like some 10 order IDs, and it has got various customers and various cities, and also there is a value called np.nan, which is a null value or a nan value. And also it has got categories like electronics, furnitures, electronics, office, and furniture. And it has got product, laptop, desktop, mouse, chair, and other items in this. So, and also the quantities of each of these products. So 2153 and also NAN, and then there is a price column, and there is going to be a discount column for each of these order IDs and the categories. And also this has got a NP NAN and the order date in codes, that is 2024-01-15, and ratings 545345 given by the customer. Okay, so once we have this data frame which is saved as DF, we can click this code block or a code cell. So after that we need to run this data frame. So now this data frame is run. So now let's check what is inside this data frame. So if you see here, so this data frame has 10 values and it's got various columns. So order ID, customer, city, category, product, quantity, price, discount, order date, and rating. So each line corresponds to a single order ID, and each column has got a unique column of its variable. All right. So once you check the data frame sample, we can use various methods. Like for example, instead of seeing the whole of 10 values, I can use add and enter. So it's going to give me the top 5. Similarly, I can use tail. It's going to give me the last 5 values. I can also use something called as a sample. So it's going to take a random sample of let's see around 3 if I want. So it's going to give me a random rows, that is 914. So to analyze any data frame, so we follow the sequence that the analysts typically use. So typically they load the data and then explore the data and then select some of the rows and the columns and the variables and 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 other methods. And also they will use filtering, so you can filter some of the rows and column according to certain values or certain algorithms, and we can sort like ascending, descending of each column or few columns. And the fourth the fifth is cleaning, that is cleaning null values or empty strings, or if there is a space, if it is duplicated, etc. And then we can transform the data like using sum, mean, median, mode, and other methods. Like for example, you can create a new column using 2 existing columns, and you can also do parsing the data, parsing the dates. So dates, so usually has the day, month, year, hour, minute, and second. So you can parse dates accordingly, whether you want a particular month from a column, or only the date, or only the hour, or only the weekdays. Then we can use reshaping the data. Then we can merge two different data frames or two different data using merge options. And once you merge and reshape them, and if you're happy with the data, you can use an export option to export it to either a CSV, a JSON, or an Excel, or other formats. Okay, so now we know. Let's have a look at this data frame again. So let's see the info. So the info will give us information about each column, whether there is null values and what type of data type is. So order ID has got 10, and because we got 10 values and it has got 10, so there is no null value there. Whereas city has got one null value, quantity has got one null, and discount has got one null, and rating has got one null. And you can see order ID is an integer of 64 bits. Customer is an object, city is an object, category is an object, quantity is an object. A quantity is a float, price is an int, discount is a float, order date is object, rating is a float. So the date is in a object format, it is not in a date format. So, and also the customer, city, and category, they are in object format, so we can transform them into a string for easy string manipulation later. So let's have a look at the data frame once again. Let's see df sample 2, and then we get an idea. So order ID is int, customer, city, and categories are objects, so we can convert them into strings later. Quantity and price, they are float and int. Discount is again a float. Date needs to be in date format. Let's convert the order date to a proper date format using to underscore date time method. For that, we're going to use pd dot to underscore date time, and we're going to select only the order date. So we can select only the order date. There is one column by saying df and then in quotes order date. So it's going to give us only the date column. So we've taken date order date and pass it to date time, and it's going to give us a new column in date time. So let's copy this and run this. All right, now it has run. So let's check df info. Let's see. Okay, now you can see the order date is now formed to date time 64 nanoseconds format. So let's add few duplicate rows. This you don't need to know much now. So we'll see it in later videos. I want to just demonstrate to show you duplicates. So we're going to add few rows and then see if there are some duplicates. So we added few duplicate rows here. So there is Charlie and Charlie New York Electronics, Charlie New York Electronics. So So we know how to view the data. Now we know how to select the columns. So we can select two columns, that is customer and a price, uh, by putting them between the brackets like this. So if you want to select only one, so you put one bracket. If you want to have more than one, then like I can select one column. So if I want more than one, then I put between another bracket. So customer, and now I can have price, and I need to close the bracket. So now I get customer and the price. So we can also use filter, bring the row by a unique value. Let's imagine you want only price more than 300. So filter value, I can say, so look at the price column and then look only for more than 300. Okay, so now it's going to give me the whole of the rows which are more than 300. I can also do something like less than 300 or exactly equals to 300. So there is only one row with exactly 300. I can also say more than equals to 300. So it's going to give me all the values 300 and above. So we can also use multiple conditions. So for that, we use these notations called and or. So this is and. So we can look at the city, Chicago, and price more than 100, or we can use the or notation, uh, which is all right. In this, there is nothing there. All right, that's a problem. Okay, where is this? All right, chalo. Oh yeah. All right, my video is done. Okay, all right, and multiple conditions. So it's gonna give me Chicago and price. So you need to be careful with this bracket. If you miss one bracket, you're gonna get an error. But it is smart. It's gonna tell you that some area the bracket is missing. So you just need to come here and put a bracket. Or if you miss another bracket here, and if you run this, so it's going to tell, okay, it does not match the opening parenthesis. All right, then to put it right behind. Okay, it's going to give us values from Chicago. Okay, again, mistake. So now this is an open bracket. Idea of Chicago price. So we can also sort the values using a sort value, that is df dot sort values, and we can sort the price according to ascending or descending. So let's see df dot sort values price. So ascending is false, so it's going to give us df sort values price. So ascending is false, so it started with the highest one and the lowest. So if you put it to ascending is true, so it's gonna do ascending, that is from 5 till 1200. So similarly, we can also sort according to according to according to quantity. Quantity. Okay. Or if you want, you can sort according to customer as well. So then it's going to do according to the alphabet. So the first Bob, first Alice, Bob, Charlie, David, Emma. So let's check missing value. So how do you check missing value? So we use df is an a. So it's going to give us are there any missing values. So there is one missing value here, and another one is here, another one is here, and one more here at the rating. So if you want to see all the missing values, you just select df again. So it's going to give us uh, is an a. All right, that's not how you do it. Is an a dot sum. Let's see how many NAs. All right, one city and this thing, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So we can sum again. So you're going to give us the sum of the sum of is and is. So and let's check whether are there any duplicates in this one. So we know that there are two duplicates. So there's one duplicate here that we added at the 10 one. So you can also check duplicate like this. So there is one duplicate, and let's see whether how to check duplicated values. All right, so this is duplicated values. So similarly, if we want, we can drop these duplicates. So I dropped them, but it is not gone. So I need to just again save it as df. So now I don't have any duplicates since all the duplicates have been dropped. So let's check any duplicated. Nobody. Right, and there are other Pandas option which is called as group by. So we can group by according to category and the price and calculate the mean of them. So it's going to give us three categories of electronics, furniture, office, and the mean value of price. We can also check the mode. So it's going to give us the mode value of this, because this series doesn't give you mode, but you can use count, and you can also use I mean so after mean there is aggregation. So in mean you can also use not only one, but you can use more than one. That is I can use price, and then I can use price, and then I can also use quantity. Let's use quantity. Okay, the mean of price and the quantity. So in aggregation, we're going to use aggregation of more than two calculations. So we're going to use a city and the price and the quantity, and let's compare uh, with this and aggregation. So we put dot ag and we write price and the mean quantity, and we're going to do the sum of that. So it's going to give us a table of all the cities and the prices and the quantity. So if you make a mistake here, it's going to tell you that price E does not exist. So if you want to create a new column using the existing one, that if you want to create a revenue column using quantity and price, so we know the quantity multiplied by price is revenue. So we can df quantity, df price, df revenue. So let's look at the df, and we have the revenue. And if you don't want to have this name called price, and you can use renaming by df.rename and the column. So we take a dictionary of price and rename it to unit price or unit underscore price, and let's run this cell, and then we have unit underscore price. So now we have a date order date. So how do we take only month from this one? For that we're going to use df order date dot dt and the month name. So it's going to give us January, February, March. So let's run now. So let's check data frame, and there will be a new column called month with Jan, February from this rows. So similarly, we can also do only here. So instead of month name, we have here, and change this to here. Order date, order date dt. Yeah, all right. So now let's check our data frame. Yeah, all right. So we have a customer column which has got a string. So if we want to change all of those names to upper, so we can use a string function called str upper, and everything will be upper. Also, we'll have to save this as df customer equals string upper. So, and we can use value counts. So for categories, let's see how many categories are there. So there are four electronics, three furniture, and three offices. All right, you can also query the data frame using the query function, which is df.query. So we can say between the quotes. So here you need to be careful that by convention you can put a double quotation on the outer side and a single quotation in a side. So now I want to query all the prices more than 200 and category is equal to furniture. So so you can write price more than 200 and category is equal to furniture and query. So it's going to give us price more than 200 and only categories of furniture. So there is also an option of df.pivot table where instead of horizontal you can see this table in a vertical format or a long format. So for that we're going to use df.pivot table. So we're going to use a value column as price and the index will be the city. So we're going to have an index of city and the columns will be our category and aggregation will be our mean. So let's see how does this look now. So if you see this, so our index is now city. All the prices from here they become the values here and the columns are the categories. That is, this column has become category electronics, furniture, and offices, and we are going to calculate the mean of this. And if you look at this, Chicago doesn't have any office, so it's going to be a nan. New York doesn't have any furniture and offices, so it's going to be a nan as well. So instead of mean, if you see, if you say count, so it's going to count. So Chicago has got one electronics, two furniture, and one none. So it's going to be mean. Let's put it back to mean. So, so that is a general pandas tutorial. So we done some things. Let's improvise